Okay.
Okay, so I'm excited to hear about how to help our downlines book parties. And I'm taking notes. Look at this.
I hope this is going to be helpful. It might not be though, so we'll
Stop.
see.
You're not allowed to do that, remember?
Oh, that's right. Sorry. It's going to be super helpful, and you guys are going to be like, lives changed. Lives are going to be changed tonight.
Literally changed.
Okay, so I am really excited to talk to you guys about this. And I can't take full credit for everything that I'm going to be sharing with you. And I'll talk about different sources I've pulled from. But I don't know about you guys. Maybe you're not like me, but when all of this started to unfold, obviously terrible, horrible things. But in terms of our business, I love a challenge. And whenever I feel like I'm stuck in my business or I'm in a funk, a challenge is exactly what I need to pull me out of it. And I don't know if you've ever read the book, The Obstacle is the Way. I've read the beginning. It's really good. And it just reminded me about The Obstacle is the Way, this book, if you want to put it on your reading list of 50 books you'll never read. But it's true. Sometimes in order to get us to the next place where we want to be, we need a good challenge that is going to cause us to be creative and to dig deep and to find what it is that we're really doing here. And I truly believe that this has been something exactly like that for me. And so I have really enjoyed the challenge, enjoyed reconnecting with my vision, reconnecting with my team on a whole nother level. And so I want you to hopefully be able to do that too if you find yourself where I was, kind of in a funk and not knowing how to handle things. So we're going to be talking about helping our teams book parties through this crisis. So here are some of the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about giving them a purpose, them being our team, giving them hope, giving them tools, and giving them tasks. So that's kind of the 4 things that we are going to be doing, and it has to be in that order. And sometimes we skip to tasks saying like, just go book this number of parties, but we have to get there in the right way. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And Christy, like if I hid the chat and everything. So like if a question pops up, you can unmute if you want me to answer it right then. So let's start with give them purpose. There was a free webinar that Donald Miller did. He wrote Story Brand, if you've ever read that. And it was a free webinar that was literally called How to Shift Your Message During COVID-19. And so I hopped on and I took notes, and it was really, really good. And so some of the things that I'm going to share came from that. But he talked about how people have new problems. And so now that people have new problems, it doesn't make you irrelevant. It just makes the purpose of what you are providing, the service that you're providing, maybe a little bit different. And that was really helpful in kind of restructuring how we communicate with potential hostesses, with potential guests, the way we tell our hostesses how to send out invitations and things like that, and also just our mindset in general. So you're probably wondering about the screenshot on the screen. Marty B's, shout out to Marty B's. Christy loves Marty B's. Marty B's is a local restaurant that is amazing. It is a full experience when you go there. They have like activities for the kids, they have live music, they have these fire pits where you can roast marshmallows. Marty B's is the epitome of like, come out, be with people, have a good time, do the things. And it's honestly not really about the food, and it's definitely not about the deal on the food because it's expensive. And Marty is not about to let his restaurant suffer during this time. Marty is getting creative. And so he has been posting all of these things like every day. I know you know this, Christy, with like, have you tried one of our brisket kolaches? They're amazing. You know, come out while supply. And obviously there's always like a drink special going along with whatever he's offering, but he is doing this incredible curbside service. with masks and gloves and the whole deal, but he's also offering deals. And, you pull up to this restaurant where you're used to going in and having an experience, and you're being served by them in a whole new way that you appreciate almost more than you did the full experience. And so one of the things that I've told my team is like, look, you are thinking, even if you're not saying it, I know you're thinking, how could I possibly sell books right now? Like, people are going through a lot. People are losing jobs and getting their salaries cut. People are getting sick. And like, for me to be advertising book parties and books and all that, that's just rude. And I know some people feel that way. But Marty, when I looked at what Marty is doing, he didn't do that. He is not an opportunistic person. He is a servant to the community. He is saying, like, you wake up on a Saturday morning, you're tired of having cereal every morning, come and get some kolaches. We've got, and literally this morning when I saw that, I woke up and I saw that and I was like, oh, can we just please go to Marty V's and get kolaches this morning? I don't want to have to make breakfast, and I need a little pick me up, and we can drive over there and that'll be nice. And so the idea that we as business owners somehow think that we are separated from this, like, support local businesses, like continue getting takeout from your restaurants so that they don't lose their business. We are part of that. We can continue to take support, even though we don't want to ask for charity, but we can continue to operate in a way that is helpful, that allows our business to continue through this time. We're no different than that. And so don't, take yourself out of that. So another thing that Donald Miller shared was that he has a sister in Houston who has a flower shop. And he called her right away when all the non-essential businesses were closed and things like that. And he said, okay, you're going to shift your message. I wish Donald Miller was my brother. But he was like, people don't want to buy flowers right now, but they do want to touch someone. And so on your website, you need to put touch someone today, send them flowers. He's like, we can't hug. We can't see our loved ones. We miss being close to people and feeling close to people. And he was like, sending flowers now means infinitely more than it did 2 months ago. And so I was like, wow. And so I sat down and I made a list of things, and you may have seen them in the weekly email if you read those. But people don't want to buy books, but they do want to get some quiet time while their kids are busy on something other than a screen. They want to create happy memories during a hard time. They want to reduce stress. They want to avoid the longest summer slide ever, which is really scary to think about. Next generation of leaders missing third of a year of school. They want to not overuse technology. They want to take care of their family's mental health. They want to keep their kids reading even though they have no access to the school or library. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me and said, we don't have any chapter books on level for so-and-so. What you got? And one of my Facebook friends in Washington, who was like one of the first states to close down, she posted a picture of her son in his classroom, and the teacher told the kids to fill their backpacks with as many books as they could fit in there for the time that they would be at home. And I was like, and I told my team, like, we're used to this like smorgasbord of books, right? But we forget that other people don't have that, especially us as leaders who are no longer new to the business. And so that was really powerful for me to think about. And they want to send a gift that will mean more now than ever. And they can do all of those things with new books. And so, thinking about communicating to your team members, to your central group consultants who maybe haven't even been doing this very long. Maybe they didn't even know what their purpose was before. But like, this is your purpose now. You are serving people through book parties in this new way. And we're going to shift our message just a little bit to reflect that and connect with people. And not only is it going to resonate with the people hearing it, but you're going to feel good about it. You're going to feel like a superhero. You're going to feel like Marty B on a Saturday morning offering brisket tacos, because people are going to go, oh, I do need help with all of these things. Thank goodness you can help me. The other thing about all of that that I, tell my team members is that like not only do people need the books, but they need the time saved that you can give them by providing book recommendations for them. Again, I forget as a book lady how little I knew about like what my 18-month-old at the time, Jordan, needed as far as books go before I joined UBAM. I remember Katie Allen posting in my sister-in-law's party and thinking like, I mean, we read, but I don't even know where to start. And it's going to take me a lot of time to like read the reviews and look at the specifications. We forget how hard it is to figure that stuff out. We provide an amazing service to our customers by doing all of that for them, giving them an inside look and painting a picture of exactly what books they can use with their kids. So time is hard to come by right now as far as like focusing in on making decisions, and we make those decisions easy for them. And so that is what you want to do first, is give your team members that new purpose. Maybe they're not telling you that they're having trouble with mindset, but they are. And if you just go ahead and assume that they are, and maybe just spill that like, hey, I had a really hard time figuring out like how I was going to fit into this new way of life and how my business was going to fit. But I started thinking about it and paint that picture of what their new purpose is going to be. And I promise when they get it, you won't have to revisit it again. That's the great thing, is that I feel like once we kind of painted this picture of what the new purpose was, everyone is on board with it. Everyone is excited about it. Everyone is taking action on it. And, the people who chime up and say like, well, what about this? Everybody else is like, oh no, girl. And so it really, once they get it and grab onto it, then the flip will switch will flip. Yeah. Okay. So second, give them hope. So after they know their purpose, you got to give them hope. And I use the word hope, but it's also actually just proof. It's evidence that all the things that you're saying, the purpose, like it's actually coming to fruition for someone before it works for them. Nobody wants to be first. Nobody wants to be the first one to be like, I did get a party book. Woohoo, and so as leaders, like that's our job. We have to take the first step. And especially for your central group that they look to you. They don't just look to Christy. They don't just look to the other executives. Like they're looking to you to say like, okay, well, are you doing it? Can she do it? Because I feel like if she can do it, then I can do it. And I take that very seriously too, even for my direct group, my central group. So before I tell my team like, okay, let's use this wording, try that, or why don't you go and try and book some parties this way? Even if I don't need to book any parties right now, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna book a party out of the blue just so I can say I did and say, look, I did it. I used this wording. I got a party booked. I know you can too. And so you take the first step as leader. So if that's something that you haven't done yet, like don't be afraid. I feel like it's just a great honor to be able to take that first step as a leader. And I'll tell a funny story here in a second about that. But it's, once you do, and once you are able to be like, okay, yes, this works, then it's fun to be able to, say like, this way, I've got this. Another way to give them hope is to let them shadow a party. So Brandy Hubel is a director on our team, and she brought this idea back in the fall that I never hopped on until recently. But it was basically that like she would tell her team when she was having a party, and she would share a Zoom link, and they could just hop on if they weren't doing a party that night. Maybe you guys do this. Seems like something y'all would do. And they would just like watch her run her party, and she would just talk about what she's doing, and she'd respond to comments. And it's like a really amazing idea that gave me the hives. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds really stressful. And so finally, again, it's like sometimes a really challenging time forces you to be uncomfortable and do things that you would never do. But I did. I made a schedule, and like a different leader did it from Sunday through Thursday. And I took one night, I had a double header, and you guys, it was a mess. I made so many mistakes. But I have to say, the parties were small. You know, they weren't like a strong RSVPs, and it was so good for my team to see me being them, you know. But I have to tell you something hilarious. On the hosting post, where it's like, you know, host a party. I'm sure you guys have those. I had 3 people jump in at one time. They're like, me, I'll host a party. And I was trying to contain my excitement because I don't know about you, but I usually get that in follow up, you know, like the hostesses, or I usually like have to, you know, really work at it a little bit more. And so I was like dancing, like singing. I was like, I mean, this is normal. This is totally normal. It happens to me all the time. But at the same time, they saw with their own eyes in real time 3 people that they don't know jumping on a host post, eager, chomping at the bit to book a party. And so that gave them hope. That gave them hope and a reason to start taking action. And then if not you, okay, so before I go on to that, another thing that I believe is really powerful is when you have something successful happen, like you book a party in a message or whatever, take a screenshot and black out people's names and send it to your team member who is discouraged and say like, look, remember that wording we talked about? Like, I just got another party booked. I know you can do this. And so sending them, even if it's not like a party shadow, but just sending them the more, or like if I get a really big order right now, you know, because everybody says like money is tight, like people don't want to spend money. I have more to say about that in just a second. Don't let me forget all these things I don't want to forget. I'll take a screenshot of my big order and be like, dude, look at this order, $150. You can do this. And so the other thing about the big orders really quick before I forget, I'm sorry, is that I've been thinking about this, and it's like the people who had the money to spend, just focus with me, okay, for a second. The people who had the money to spend a few months ago, right, had no reason to like hold on to their cash and bury it in their backyard or anything. They had less of a reason to buy a few months ago, really, than they do now with a tighter budget. And so like what I am finding is that my customers that I've had forever who place small orders or maybe sometimes skip ordering at a party, they are placing large orders now, even with everything happening, because they need the books more now. And it's a huge like sense of urgency that they have. Like, we've got to get some of this stuff in the house ASAP. So I just think it's interesting that we focus so much on the financial burden that we feel like we're putting on people when we're totally blind to like the service that we're able to give people as schools and libraries are closed, and the kids who are on the receiving end of that delivery. So I think that's really interesting and something that's worth maybe just helping your team shift their mindset for. And then if not someone else, if not you, then someone else. And so whenever I find myself in a place of like disbelief of like, I can't do this, or like I have limiting beliefs coming at me, like nobody wants to buy, nobody wants to book, nobody wants to join, blah, 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 then I find one person who it's working for. One. There are 350 leaders that I could look to. And if I can find one, then I tell myself, you know what? If not me, they're going to go to Mary Ann. Mary Ann's going to find them and she's going to book a party with them. Or if not me, then you know what I mean? And so truly telling your team, and that's part of giving them the proof, is like, look, if they don't buy with you, they're going to buy with me. So I might as well buy with you. And so find a way or else someone else will. Okay, so next you want to give them tools, wording, and how to handle objections. Now, so one of the things that I learned about a year ago, was that a year ago? It was a year ago, was triggers. And I always try and put a trigger somewhere in a booking ask, or when I'm coaching my hostesses to invite their friends, I want to make sure that they're including a trigger. I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this before. If I have, I apologize. But I really like Bowden. a clothing company, and I went to this special like Bowdoin customer research analysis thing where a bunch of Bowdoin customers were invited to in Dallas to come, and it was a long day, but we got a $100 Bowdoin credit, and they did things like asked us questions about our buying habits. Essentially, they asked us to put together collages of like what our style is. They asked us what triggers us to go and buy clothes. And one of the things that I learned, this was like literally a year ago, was that around that time, vacation triggers people to buy clothes. And so if you go, probably not now, but if you went onto it's going to be loungewear right now, but if you went on the Bowdoin website regularly, you would see a bunch of pictures of people wearing their clothes on vacation. Because although, I'm sorry, I'm getting like a throat thing, just although you only would wear those clothes for like a little while.
Gina, is this Corona?
It's COVID.
You,
You gave it to me.
I haven't seen you in like a year. So.
We've been hanging out every night. What are you talking about?
Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
But even though, you know, the vacation clothes you're just going to wear for vacation, people are more likely to go and actually make the purchase for the vacation. So I started thinking about like, okay, what are our triggers for books, and why are we not implementing this into our messaging, you know? And so now the triggers are so easy because it is, you know, things like, I know we're all missing other humans and being social, so I'm inviting my friends to gather online for a virtual book party. I know many of us are finding ourselves homeschooling now, so I'm helping people find the right educational books and resources for learning at home. I know you may be like me, feeling like screen time is getting out of hand while you're staying at home, so I'm sharing some of our favorite coloring books, crafts, sticker books, drawing books, and activities that our kids can have fun with without being glued to a screen. I know many people are starting to, you know, these are all different. You don't want to put them all in the same message. But just sitting down and coming up with like, what are the problems right now, and what are the solutions that we have for them? I know a lot of people don't have time to search the web for the right books for learning at home, so I'll be putting together customer recommendation lists for your guests to make finding the right books quick and simple. And so giving your team feels like, I don't know how I could possibly ask people to book a party right now, and you could easily swap that out for like, I know many people are missing being social, and so I'm booking parties right now, and that just triggers like, oh yeah, an online party would be fun. And then a special offer for customers. This was a really great tip from Donald Miller that I liked and appreciated. So and he meant it more for like after all of this has passed, and maybe if we feel a recession, and as business owners feel the effect of that. But it's a really great time to offer something. So like anytime a potential hostess comes back to me and says, well, I have a lot of people who are, you know, like financially struggling right now, so I don't think I want to host. I say, oh my gosh, I know it is such a crazy time, which is why I can totally do something great for them, like free shipping on $40 orders or more, something like that. And, you know, especially for my consultants who don't make override, I've had to say like, look, that sounds like a lot, you know, paying $6 on a $40 order. But if they put $40 in their cart, they're probably going to buy a customer special. So it's probably going to be more like 50. And you're going to have enough people who place larger orders than that are going to balance it out. And again, right now, it's really all about moving your business forward. And that might mean, you know, investing a little bit of what we're making right now back into our business. And so something like that, you could, if it means someone deciding to host because you're offering that, you could find your next team member in that party. And then that investment in that party is going to pay you tenfold. And so, you know, talking to people about the social escape and just being bold. I loved what Donald Miller said. He said, you know, communicate with empathy and authority. And so like, even with our teams, when they're talking about how much trouble they're having booking a party or finding time or whatever, being able to say, this is really hard, I'm feeling it too. I have a great solution I can share with you though. And just saying that with authority and confidence that like you do know you have a way for them out of this. I'm sorry about my COVID cough that I have apparently. I'm sorry, that's been sensitive. I know you had it and everything. Are you mad at me? Okay, next, give them tasks. I can't see your face. You're rolling behind me. She's laughing. Okay, give them tasks. Okay, so when you've given them their purpose, they're like, okay, I can do this book thing. I'm like the breakfast burritos on a Saturday morning. I get it. You gave them hope. You showed them like, look, it's working for me. It can work for you too. You've given them wording. They know exactly the words to use in order to book the party or, you know, invite the people or whatever. Now you need to get them to get to work. So this has 4 parts. You need to give them a specific action instead of like, go book 2 parties. It needs to be go ask 10 people if they want to book a party. And with a quantity. So instead of go talk to people about booking a party, go talk to 10 people about booking a party. And with the right wording and everything, and it needs to be time bound. So go talk to 10 people about booking a party by Friday, right? So you can check in with them at that time. Most important part of it all is that it has to be goal driven. So wherever this team member is in their UBAM journey, maybe they had a goal to promote to team leader and they feel like this is just, it's all unraveling, or maybe they are in their climb and, you know, they're close to the next goal or whatever. I love that we can go and see what their dates for each level are and everything in back office. Whatever their goal is, say like, hey, go ask 10 people if they want to book a party, do it by Friday. And I know that if we can get 2 parties booked for next week, that is going to help you promote to team leader by June 1st or whatever. And so cap it off with bringing them back to whatever that next goal for their business is, because it's all about bringing them back to their original vision so that they're like, yes, you're right. Okay, I do want to promote to team leader. I do want to get that next climb reward, whatever it is. So give them tasks. And the last thing, how's my time? 9:29. Check that out. The last thing I want to share with you, if I can find it, I recently watched this awesome documentary called The Biggest Little Farm. I highly recommend it. But Molly, the farmer, they bought this land in California that was like desolate. Maybe some of you guys have seen it. It's like the dirt was like dry and it was awful. And they wanted to make this farmland out of it that was completely regenerative, I can never say that word, regenerative, and, you know, didn't have any pesticides or chemicals or anything. And they did it. And at the end, she was originally like a chef. She was all about cooking. It reminds me of Mirabelle, because the food is like, you know, sustainable food and everything and amazing. And what is the quote at the beginning? She says something like, you know, food is only as good as the way it's grown. You know, you make a meal and it's only as good as the ingredients. And so that led her to being a farmer. So she's at the end of the movie. She's serving this meal. She's watching everybody eat her delicious, you know, naturally grown food. And she says, I didn't expect that the hardships we did face would make the actual dream itself feel so much more alive. We made it this far with a comfortable level of disharmony. And it just makes me think about the time we're in right now. And it reminds me of another time in my business back in 2016. I won't mention it, but it was some disharmony at that time. But seeing us on the other side of it, it's just that much more satisfying knowing that we made it through that and that we're thriving. And it's going to be the same for this, you know, going through this comfortable level of disharmony that we're experiencing right now. A year from now, 2 years from now, we're going to look back and go, man, that was worth it. That was worth it. And we grew during that time, and we didn't quit and we didn't give up. We found a way to make it work. And that's going to make the actual, you know, dream itself feel even better. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Gina. Okay, so we have a few questions.
Okay.
Okay, so first I need to know, did Zach say yes to the kolaches this morning? Did he let you go get them? What?
Today's Saturday? That was Saturday.
Oh, that was Saturday. I thought you said it was this morning. Did he let you?
He's not the boss of me.
I mean, he's the boss. Did you get your kolaches?
I have gotten the kolaches. They're very good.
Okay, good. Yeah, Marty B's got me with their drink specials. We went and got a margarita mix.
Today?
It was last weekend. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next question. Oh, Alexi wants to know what the hosting message you use is.
If you want to host a party?
Yeah. Oh, look, are you really going to share it? Yeah, I think that was like a funny question.
Booking parties from messaging. Do you want me to tell? It's not that special. I don't think I even wrote it. Hi, insert friend's name. How are you guys holding up with staying home? We've been loading up on activity books, puzzles, and homework helpers to keep us from overdoing the screen time. I've had a lot of people reach out about getting books too, so I came up, and I always tell my team members, like, just say you've had people reach out. Just say it. I'll even ask my cousin to reach out to me just so I can say that I had people reach out. So I came up with a great special for anyone who wants to host a party right now. That's the other thing, is that if you are booking parties out of the blue and you're not booking parties from parties, you have to give them an offer they can't refuse. You're going to have to give a little. So I say I'm giving hosts an additional $30 in free books on top of their regular rewards, and offering free shipping to their guests with $40 plus orders. And so telling people who are interested in booking a party, they're not concerned about themselves. They're concerned about the people that they would invite, which is why you need to offer them a deal for their guests. That will make them say yes over the $30 in free books for themselves, which is what usually works, It's been a great distraction for friends to gather online for a book party, and I'm glad I can help with recommendations and offer a deal like this. If you'd rather not, that's okay. I always give a pressure release, which is important for your team members who feel awkward asking people. Because I always tell my team members, like, you're going to tell them it's okay to say no. And they're like, that's true. So people are more likely to say yes if you tell them they can say no. So if you'd rather not, that's okay. But if you'd like to pick a party date, here are two that are open. Sure, two open party days. What do you think?
I feel like I'm going to do like a slow clap for you there.
You're welcome. And I really liked Katie Ivy's thing that she shared in Directors, of like a real life conversation she had where she handled an objection. The person was like, actually, sure, why not? So, yeah.
Okay, any other questions? They all loved that. They said it was gold, by the way, if you're not seeing the chat. Now I'm going to have to go watch that documentary.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
I saw you post something about, did they do something on Instagram, like a live or something?
Yeah, they have some cute stuff on Instagram.
Nina asked if we can have that message written. We'll type it out. I'm recording. Well, Gina knows. I'm just going to rewind and play again and again. You shared it. It's like free.
Well, I know that you're training my team tomorrow, and so if I don't do a good job, you're gonna like totally crap out on my team tomorrow. I know you.
Nope, it's not gonna do that. We were saying that.
We're gonna be like, I don't know, guys, just get out there and do it.
Okay.
Give a little preparation right here. I'm just kidding. Chrissy Vest always does 200%.
Yeah, I wouldn't crap out.
Just for y'all. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
If I suddenly get sick tomorrow, I can't do this.
No, you're immune. We know you're not sick.
Right. Okay. Any other questions now that we have her on and she can't say no? We have her on the hook. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be in trouble. Okay, no other questions. Thank you, Gina. I feel like you It's true. Like we just jumped straight to like the action steps without really focusing on the stuff before. So I need to work on that. So thanks for sharing, for adding a little bit of the umph behind it. I was gonna say fluff, but I can't say fluff. It's just
I know, I told you
my
to be
vocabulary. It wasn't fluffy. It was good. It's great.
Okay, awesome.
Yay. Thank you, Gina.
You're welcome.
You guys have a great night. Go get some rest for your throat.
I know, I don't know what's up with that. And
Maybe allergies, asthma. Asthma's
allergies
flaring up.
and stuff. And when I
Yeah.
well, I never talk during the day except to yell at my kids, and then I'm just kidding, never yell at my kids.
Right.
And at night when I start talking to people, you guys, and it's just anyway. Okay, thanks. Hope this was helpful. Talk to you guys later.